So how many of y'all have been in after-school activities when you were like growing up? Okay. That's the same way I was. I was in after-school activities my whole life, and I can say that I learned so many different things about the way the world is, being a part of something outside of school. I was in tennis, swim, gymnastics, soccer, t-ball when I was like 3 years old, and dance. But dance is the one that I stuck with the most. I auditioned for a competition and performing company when I was in 5th grade, and I made it. So I devoted my entire life to it. I was always at the studio. I was there from about 3 p.m. every day to 5, Monday through Thursday and on the weekends. This definitely taught me how to time manage with my schoolwork and house chores that I had to get done around. So I looked up childrennow.com. Says over 7 million children in the U.S. lack adult supervision during after-school hours. There's no one there to make sure that they get their schoolwork done or to make sure they're not being a lazy couch potato, so they're staying active. It can lead to obesity or increase the alcohol and drug use, and it can also increase the violence among students. Today I'm going to talk about how being involved in something outside of classwork can benefit a student's academics, safety, and health. SheKnows.com states that participating in a favorite activity helps kids learn to prioritize and plan. It teaches responsibility and time management. Going to school and being in an after-school activity helps you plan when you need to get something done, and definitely helps you realize what you need to prioritize in your life. Childrennow.com also says students involved in a literacy program called in the Central Valley showed substantial academic gain after their first year at the beginning of an academic year. 15% were reading at a grade level by the end of the year. Nearly 50% were reading at a grade level above it, and the other were reading at a full grade level above them. Not all after-school activities need to be based around sports or arts. They can be academics. Publicagenda.org says 3 out of 10 students say they would rather have an after-school activity or program that provides homework help or focuses mainly on academics. Like I said earlier, I had to learn to prioritize what I was doing. If that meant staying home from the football game or saying no to like movie plans, I would have to, because I would want to make sure I get my work done before I go out and do fun things with my friends or something like that. If I knew that I had a big project coming up the next week and I wouldn't have time, I would make sure I planned enough time to get it done the weekend before, so I wouldn't have to like worry about it. Because there is only a certain amount of time allotted for specific activities after school, it definitely keeps kids out of trouble. School.familyeducation.com says National Youth Violence Prevention Resource Center found that children who do not spend any time in after-school activities are 49% more likely to abuse drugs and 30% more likely to become a teen parent. Kids are also at the higher risk at being a victim of violence after school, particularly between the hours of 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. and the highest amount of juvenile crimes occur between 3 and 4, which is when kids get dismissed from school. When I was just at the studio one day with all the kids in my company, we were talking about why we like dancing and how it affected the human beings that we were. And my friend Lorenzo, I would describe him more of like a rebel, or like not exactly someone you would expect to be in such like a time prioritized activity. And when it got to him, he said that he loved dancing especially because it kept him out of trouble. And I'd seen the kids that he'd like hang out with, and I knew like they did drugs or something like that, and it was like really cool to see that he wanted to make sure that he would stay out of trouble and so he would become successful. And today he's a music recorder and works with Usher in Atlanta, so he definitely became successful, and it made me proud to be around a person like him. I definitely noticed in high school there were patterns in kids, like if they did participate in an after-school activity, they would stay out of trouble, they'd have good grades, and I would also notice the kids that did not, they would always have a new story on why they were grounded or why they were in trouble. They were more likely to be in legal trouble or be using alcohol and drugs. And the way that I think about it is the more time you have to just sit around and do nothing, you have more time to come up with stupid ideas, and you have less to lose, because if you're not participating in anything other than school, like, you probably don't really care that much. Along the lines of alcohol and drugs, there is more opportunity to damage one's health by abusing those drugs or becoming a couch potato. KidsHealth.org says people who are involved or engaged are less likely to become addicted to bad habits like smoking and drinking. The lack of physical activity leads to obesity in kids that get home and just watch TV all day and don't want to find anything better to do with their lives. And it would also lower the alcohol use in students or young kids. So getting involved benefits not just the kids but those around them, because if you get in trouble with the law, you're obviously going to have to bring your parents into it, and it helps them not have to worry about that. It protects from unsafe or negative behavior, and it definitely helps a working parent. If your parent has to work all day, they can trust where you are. It's a great place to have a creative outlet. It teaches you how to socialize with peers, and it definitely boosts your confidence. Participating in after-school activities builds structure, helps kids to learn how to be responsible, since you are going to have to be responsible the rest of your life. So I'd like to encourage y'all, if you have siblings too, to encourage them to get involved, because these lessons, like staying safer, learning how to time manage, and being responsible, are definitely great things to learn when you're younger, I think, make good habits. And so I don't think there's any excuse not to get involved just because you can't find an activity. I went through a laundry list of activities. In tennis, I would never make it over the net. Swim, when I would do the backstroke, I usually drowned. The gymnastics, I tried to do a back handspring, and my arms weren't strong enough to hold my body and laid it on my neck. Soccer, I would do pull-ups on the goalpost, or do cartwheels down the field, and in t-ball, I would usually run the wrong way. So I think there's always a way to get something you can do so you learn all these life lessons down here.